Hi, good morning. At ArcoLinux, we want you to be self-reliant, independent, that you don't need us after a while, right? I have this issue on this computer. Dropbox won't start. And it would be a pity after do a clean install because I've been rolling since May 2018. This is the SSD of Sardi and Server. It's dedicated for that. You know, I have this tray in my desktop. Pop things in and I pop things out. This is the SSD for Sardi and Surfing. And I just installed everything again. I mean, updated everything again. 3 gigabytes, right, in 1 month's time. October 20th, the last one time I updated everything. Now it's November 25th. So that's all normal on ArcoLinux. That said, what if you have an issue? What do you do? Well, you try to reinstall it. Done that already. Sudo pacman -s dropbox. That's done. Second tip is launch it from the terminal. What messages do you get? Can you Google or DuckDuckGo these messages? The message that came along told something about permissions, right? Is that true? Or is it just a what if that a programmer created and it's not true, right? It still needs your intelligence. This is just a what if this happens, then display that. Is it true that I have permissions errors? Might be. Second thing is, well, you could have a look at the permissions error. Control, well, let's do a few backups. Bye. And then right mouse click and LL. Have a look. It's all Eric. This is a thing to see. Root. So the backup is from root. All the rest is nicely Eric, but this guy is again root. So that's probably gonna be my issue. Me playing along with me playing with settings that are not correct. So this is something he might be needing, which probably will solve things. So they were right. Now I wanted to continue to explain you the next step is you would go to Yay and see Dropbox. Because Dropbox is something we create. ArcoLinux Extra Large, we build it for you. And that's the version. But you can build it yourself. And that's number 7. 135.4.221-1, right? We have exactly the same version as the one from online, so we are up to date. But this does not mean anything. It might be out of date anyway, and it's not yet reported. You might need you might need to rebuild it because of Python or libraries references changed. And you need to build it again, but nobody knows. Nobody tells you. You can't see it here. So the only thing is, well, let's try and rebuild it from the AUR. You rebuild it, right? So that's another option. Then we got this import key, and you know, today we have always had problems since July 2021. The key servers are not what I used to be, to say the least. But there is a skip thing, right? Yay skip is something that you can do, and yay skip Dropbox unfortunately is gonna get it from extra large because that's the first it finds. It says, oh, we don't need to build, there is one there, but I really want to build. Then we type alias, what's behind this yay skip. You don't need to remember all these things. You just read these things. mflags, skip integrity. So if I say yay -mflags skip integrity Dropbox, then I'll get the choice. The -s is going to install it. Now I've got the choice. Number 7, AOR, enter, 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 the key, right? So don't do enter, enter, 7, enter, yes, yes. When it asks for the key, say no, 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 forget about the key. So skip the key. No. And then it's going to build it properly. This takes time. And that if you see these, then you're building. You're actually making something with a package build. A recipe how to create Dropbox is maintained by a user like you who puts in his time for free to update the package build. Is this the problem? I don't think so, but I'm showing you all kinds of things you should do, could do. So it will be probably the permissions error because I've been playing around with settings for sure. So Control T, LL, and Control T. Oh, what's the problem? So let's start at the bottom, right? That's a backup. I need to be sudo because it's root. So here we have permissions to read, the write, and execute for the users. The next three is the group, and the other three is others. Then you have the name, the user, and in what group it is. Eric is in the group. Eric user is in the group. Eric. Same goes for root, right? I need to get rid of these files because they're backups anyway, but the issue is gonna be in this gen thing there. So sudo, let's clean up everything because I want to keep my SAT7 SSD just fine. So remove what? Remove .ssh rc back. That's gone. Root. This one I don't want to delete, right? I want to change the mod, change ownership for, and then you need to figure it out, right? How do we figure out things? Mum, change ownership. How was it again, right? The manual page, documents, and so on, change ownership. I want to change the file owner. It shouldn't be root, it should be Eric. Okay. Is there an example? Sometimes at the bottom there are examples. Ah yeah. Change ownership, root, staff. Okay. So if I say Eric and then double point Eric and then something. So sudo change ownership Eric double point Eric. And what file is it, or what? The .gen something. Okay. Let's see what I did. LL. Here he is. He's back from Eric. Yes, it's mine. What do I have here? These are directories. And I don't know if they've written it, but let's have a look. Often a -r is recursively, and that's what we needed to know. Is it a big R? Is it a small r? Hey, I don't know. I keep forgetting it too. Read. So, big R recursively. Let's make Eric Eric, obviously, but then what else? The .config ADT. .config ADT. Let's see if that works. Otherwise, we'd have to figure something out. For the other one, where are you? Up there. Eric Eric. I'll check later on beneath it because that might be still from root. So recursively means down into the folder. I just hope it's like that, but I need to check. Now all of these can go, right? You know, these are just backups. Backups from what? The ArcoLinux tweak tool. Backups from what? The ArcoLinux desktop treasure. So you don't need it, right? You can actually delete this thing. If everything is fine, great, everything is fine. But this makes a backup of your settings. The .config goes in there. So all this is actually in there. So from time to time you can delete it. This is the local config 80. This is the treasure. I'm looking at the treasure ATT. Voila. Here's the config, right? All the configs, all the stuff. And maybe you've made some changes in plain cartoon or so. It's there. Your own changes are there. If you do a scal, and say, oh my god, I did a scal, it's there. Or you do an ArcoLinux tweak tool and you change something, all the copies are there, right? So yeah, the fact is, how about my permissions? LL. It's all from Eric. We're good. So last check. Eric. Here is the root. Bash RC remove, sudo remove. Otherwise I can't do anything. The bash RC dot back. And that's the last one, I guess, because root, this is going up. One level up is from root. Yeah, I think that's the last one. Let's go over it again. All right, come on Dropbox, do your thing. So let's see. Launch it like this. You can launch it with Super Shift and then D. That's my preference. Dropbox. There is F11 for you. Super F11, Eric. Dropbox. And there is Super F12 for you. Dropbox. And there is Alt F3 for you. Dropbox. And well, let's launch already Dropbox, and it's not in here. You could put it in there. Let's see. Ah, could not start. Okay, let's go back in. Now Dropbox has here files and here files, right? So open folder here. LL. Is something wrong with these files? Here is Dropbox. I could check if underneath there is something wrong. Personally, I would have the reflex to say, whatever, everything is cool. And maybe because of all these issues, it won't boot. This is all from Eric. So yes, it's a good reflex. That is to get rid, if an application has settings, configuration somewhere in your .config or your .local, two places to have a look at. So .config and .local. Go check if the application has settings in there. If it has, delete. Right? It's just an application. You can still log in again, right? Later on. Is there anything Dropbox related in here? Not that I can see. Is there anything else? Atom, backups. Oh, these are all things. Okay, bye. Let's clean this up. It's an SSD of 3 years, right? It has seen all kinds of versions, updates. All right, so nothing from Dropbox. My trash needs to be emptied. And then I'll launch Dropbox again. The same applies for what was I going to say? For tools like Discord, Telegram, settings, all kind of settings that are wrong. I had to do that as well for those guys. So it's important that those work. And here you have it. I'll just need to sign in and everything will be fine. And I get my data back. So reinstall, in my case, very specific thing, permissions, rebuild, remove configs. Ah yeah, I know again what I wanted to say. A lot of my students run into the same issues in Windows and Windows 11. That the browsers are so filled and are really filthy, right? They don't do clean installs, they just keep updating. And it gets so filled with all kind of rubbish, and they can't boot up the browsers anymore. Google Chrome, Firefox. That's the one thing that you need to delete, these cache files and extensions and all whatever they install on those machines. I don't know, right? But you need to remove the things that are located in app data. It's a hidden folder, and there are 3 folders in there, and you need to delete those configs. And this is exactly the same thing. What I've done now is exactly the same thinking, reasoning. Get rid of whatever code configuration is already there and start again, because they remove the application, reinstall a new one, but the rubbish is still there, right? The config is still there. Exactly the same thing happened here on Linux. All right, have fun and try to solve things like these. It's some common sense and some daring maybe, but it's fixable, right? It is Linux. Cheers.